Broadcasting to the world, this is On Call with Chad McCall. In our show, we bring you inspiration, strategies, and insights on how to start, grow, and scale your business.
It's drastically changed my life.
The show is so informative, I just love it. It's honest. It's helped me grow as a person.
Real talk about life, lifestyle, society, and living limitless. Learning from the top influencers across the world, along with industry experts, authorities for you to live your greatest life. It's time to level up.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Here's your host, best-selling author and mentor, Chad McCall.
Welcome to another episode of On Call with Chad McCall. The timing of today's episode, I think, couldn't be more perfect. The statistic of 95% of business failing within the first 5 years is astounding to me, and 50% of them won't make it through year number one. And this is without a pandemic like we're facing in today's economy. Today's conversation is going to be with a friend of mine who's written 15 books with several of the top publishers out there like Hay House, HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster. He is the expert on head trash. We all have it, but don't really know what it is. And also, us entrepreneurs, we need to uncover what our problems are. He has mastered the ability to recognize it, fix it, and we can really create the life that we really want. So let's get started. I'm going to give my buddy a call. Siri?
Hello, Chad.
Will you call Noah St. John?
Of course, I would love to call Noah St. John.
Hello?
Noah.
Hey, is this Chad?
It is. I've got you on the podcast. Welcome.
Awesome. Hey, great to be here.
Well, I'm glad you could squeeze in a little bit of time for me to give you a call here and answer some questions. I figured with what we're going through right now, it is nothing better but to give you a call and talk to entrepreneurs and business owners that are on here going to be listening about what's going on in the economy. Talk about some of the discoveries that you've made in working with business owners. You got the new book coming out, Get Rid of Your Head Trash. Talk about that. I gave you a little bit of an intro talking about head trash. Like, tell the listeners, like, what is head trash and how it affects people?
Yes, absolutely. So, I've written 15 books that are published in 18 languages. And, basically I've written 15 books pretty much on the same subject, Chad, but because people need it, talking about this subject that I call head trash. So because it really affects so many people, as you just stated correctly. Trash is the voice in your head that says, I can't do it because ... So think about this for the folks listening. What is it that you want to do right now in your life? What is it you want to do right now in your business? Having that goal, that destination, it's kind of like driving in a car, right? So when you're driving a car, you have two forces that are at work. You have the driving force of the gas and the restraining force of the brake. And so our drive, our desire to hit our goal, to reach our destination, is that foot on the gas. But what holds so many people back, I'm talking even, successful people that you would think would be very successful. What's holding so many people back is that foot on the brake. The head trash that says, well, I want this, like people say to me all the time, well, Noah, I want to double my income like your clients do. I want to write books like you've done. I want to launch my online business. I want to scale my business and make more money online, working from home like your clients do. But I can't do it because, right? ... And then whatever you say after the word because is what you're going to believe. And ironically, what you're going to fight to the death for. Even though you're fighting for your own limitations, we humans have an almost infinite capacity to make ourselves right. So this is one area for everyone listening, you don't want to make yourself right.
So Noah, is it like a belief system that people have instilled from their parents? Like, talk about that, because you are the expert and you've spent years studying the gap between successful people and not successful, or people that are running into these roadblocks. And it's not really about money. It's not about where you're from. Some people have something. Do they make it? Do they create it? What are they doing to either have these limiting beliefs or this head trash? Where does it originate?
Well, you're absolutely right, Chad, because one of the things that I work with is that exact thing, the difference between what I call the unconsciously successful people and everyone else. Now, here's what I mean by that. Whenever we humans want to do something, whenever we want to master something, a new task, a new habit, we all go through 4 stages of competency. The first stage is unconscious incompetence. That means you don't know, you don't know. The second stage is conscious incompetence. That means you don't know. The third stage is conscious competence, which is you know. And then the fourth stage is unconscious competence, which is when you do without thought. You're literally doing it without thinking. So again, going back to my analogy of driving a car, right? So we all went through those 4 stages. Probably everybody listening to this right now knows how to drive a car, right? But at one point, you actually had to go through all 4 stages. The first stage is you didn't know how to drive a car, right? Nobody comes out of the womb and says, hey, where's my car? Right? So you don't know. Then the second stage is you don't know. It's like, oh man, I really want to learn how to drive a car, but gosh darn it, I don't know how to drive a car. How do you do that, right? And then you go and you learn how to drive a car, you get to conscious competence. And then for most of the folks listening to this, you're probably at the stage now of unconscious competence, which is you do it without thinking. And of course, we do that with dozens of things every day in our lives, things like writing and speaking and reading and lots of different things that we do every day. But what I've realized over the last 2 decades of helping people to add, 6 figures, multiple 6, 7, and yes, even 8 figures to their business, all really while working less, is that is the difference that between the highly successful people and the people who are struggling or stuck, which is that they haven't been taught the habits, what I call the power habits of unconsciously successful people. And the reason they haven't been taught it is because all those people who are unconscious, they don't even know they're doing it, right? When you're unconscious at something, you often don't even know you're doing it, and you certainly can't teach it. That's why it took a nerd like me, and I'm probably the nerdiest nerd in this industry, meaning that I have to just get down to the molecular level so that I can teach it, because I only wish that somebody would have taught me this many years ago when I was stuck, when I was struggling, but there wasn't anybody to teach me. So I had to do it all myself and, write all these books and create all these courses, just frankly, because I wish somebody would have done it for me.
What you're saying, Noah, is probably the most perfect thing for people to listen to right now, because many business owners thought they figured it out, or they're reaching a level of success and they are moving towards that level of now they want to scale. Maybe some people were on the fence that wanted to get started. They just got started and they've been, working their business this year. And then there's entrepreneurs that are shifting and going to a whole new career, and maybe their side hustle is becoming more important to them. But now we don't have the help, the knowledge, the training. None of those things are really in place because we got hit in the face with this pandemic right now that's happening, because these successful businesses or, some are forced to close, and they never were prepared. They never had training. They never had any type of a manual for, hey, if I'm a brand new business owner and this pandemic happens, what do you do? Or if I'm a successful business owner of 50 years or 30 years and you have a pandemic, what do you do? None of us have ever seen this. The people that didn't think they had head trash, here comes a mountain. It's like a head trash tsunami, because we all think that we know it all. We're all an expert in some way, right? Right now, there wasn't any type of prerequisite training in our life, in our business, and in our mind for what we're going through right now. So, because some people say, well, I like what Noah's talking about, getting unstuck or what stuck me, but they didn't have that leading up. They just got a roadblock thrown right in front of them. So that's a different type of head trash, right?
Well, listen, whenever we humans want to accomplish something, there are always 2 forces at work, then what the inner component and the outer component. So, at my company, with our clients, we just say simply inner game and outer game. So the inner game is everything that happens between your ears that you can't see directly, but it affects everything that you do. For example, like when I'm doing virtual trainings for companies or organizations, or, or even speaking with my clients, I often say, what is one area of your life where your beliefs don't affect you? And of course, people go, and I go, exactly. There's no place your beliefs don't affect you, right? Your beliefs affect everything: your health, your wealth, your finances, your business, your career, but also your personal life. Your weight, your peace of mind, your stress level, and so forth. There's no place your beliefs don't affect you, but you can never see a belief, right? A belief is invisible, but yet it affects everything that you do. So that's the inner game. But then we also have the outer game. So the outer game is everything you can see. That's like for as a digital marketer or an online marketer, you got to have your lead pages, your lead magnets, your sales funnels, your marketing copy, all of the blocking and tackling that we have to do as online marketers every single day. But for so many people, they, as you just stated, they don't have this. They never even thought of it. I'll give you a quick example from one of our coaching clients. Her name was Stacy, and she is a chiropractor. And she, was very, very happy just adjusting patients, but she, wanted to make more money. And so she hired me and said, hey, Noah, can you help me, make more money? And I want to spend more time with my family. I said, well, you realize that if all you're doing is adjusting patients, that's great. But, you're going to reach a point where you really can't do anymore, and you're going to be spending more time away from your family. So I said to her, do you realize that there's a way that we can actually package up your knowledge and skills and expertise and actually sell it to the world in the form of online courses and sales funnels? And she's like, what? I never heard of that, right? So long story short, I helped her get all this together. We packaged her all up. And, her dream, Chad, was to go on, take her family on a vacation to the Grand Canyon. Of course, this was, before all this pandemic happened, but that was her dream. And she's got 4 kids. So, big family. And she said, she told me, said, well, if we can get there in like 5 to 7 years, that'd be awesome. Well, because of the packaging and inner game and outer game work we did, we got her there, and she sent me pictures from the Grand Canyon and said, thanks, Noah, for changing our lives. And as everybody listening, I'm sure knows, that there's no better feeling than to know that you've changed people's lives. So, that's an example of what people can do right now. But what I want to state is that if you don't have the inner game secrets and the outer game in place, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to have that success.
Well, and a lot of your clients, you just brought that up about packaging something or training or going virtual. That makes me think of just that. How many of your clients in these businesses were just picking up the phone, calling you, blowing up your email, your text messages to Noah, and saying, I'm in the business of face-to-face. If it's a sales guy, hey, I sell face-to-face. Or if it's a seminar speaker that you work with, they sell from stage, or they don't have the ability to deliver the way they used to. They're having to change it up and go into a world that, there is an answer for it. But then there's a lot of people that said, I can't. And I'm thinking about head trash of when people are calling me, they're like, I can't, how do I go virtual, Chad? How do I talk to the sellers on real estate? Or what am I doing that is taking my personal side of my business? I'm going virtual now. Like there's a lot of head trash going on with that too. As you mean, like people had to change their businesses.
Well, absolutely. And, I do have a huge advantage because I started my company, successclinic.com, in my college dorm room in 1997 with $800 and a book on HTML. So I've been doing this for over 2 decades. I mean, I actually literally, and unbeknownst to me, I accidentally started one of the first business and personal growth websites on the internet. I mean, successclinic.com has been, registered since 1998, and which is pretty amazing. And so the point is, I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've helped people get through, the .com bubble of 1999. I helped people get through 9/11 and the aftermath thereof. Help people get through, the 2008 financial downturn, and on and on and on. So, of course, I do believe, and I've said this to all of my clients, and whether I'm doing virtual events or just one-on-one coaching calls or training, I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like this, because even I'm talking with people who, have been in wars, like even going back to World War II, Vietnam, and so on. And this is unlike anything they've ever seen, because, when you go to the grocery store, you don't expect a bomb to fall on you, but yet that's what we have right now. And so that's why so many people are scared. But here's what I want to talk about just briefly about fear, because obviously, this is very, very scary times. These are very scary times. But here's what I want to say. Fear and control work in opposition. And here's what I mean by that. When you have more control over your life, the less fear you feel. The less control that you have over your life and your business, your income, the more fear that you're going to feel. That's just inevitable. And so as this pandemic was evolving and, just getting worse and worse and worse, and all the news just kept exploding and just getting more and more dire and tragic, I said to my wife, I said, I don't know why I'm not feeling fear. Why am I not feeling so afraid? And then after I said that to her, I realized the answer, which is because I've been doing this for so long and I've helped so many people make so much money that I have this ability to have the control over my life. And that's what I want. What this means for everyone listening is very simple. That's what I want all of you to have. You have to, whatever you got to do, whether you hire a coach, hire a mentor, take an online course, whatever you got to do, you've got to get that control over your life, because otherwise it's almost inevitable that you're going to succumb to the fear.
When you said something interesting, get some help, get a little bit of training, get education, get a mentor, get some type of coach. It's something about education, like get your knowledge up, because you're saying that since 98, you got to think about the knowledge that you stayed in that field, for a couple of decades. You're talking about getting knowledge up to where, even someone starting brand new, it's the starting point for their new scaling of knowledge that they're learning. And with that knowledge, you slowly eliminate the fear that can come from these certain things you can't control. I mean, there's certain things we can control.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. Well, nobody can control this pandemic, but I'm sorry, Chad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was getting excited by what you're saying. The point is, yes, of course, we have these outside forces that you can't control. Of course, we can all take steps, like social distancing and hand washing and all those things, which you of course have to do. That's the to keep our physical health. But I'm talking also about our financial health, right? I mean, there's no question. Look, I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood. So I know what it's like to not have money, and it sucks. There's nothing good about not having money. There's nothing good about not having that control. And even when I was growing up as a little kid, I hated that life of poverty. I hated being poor because I saw right down the street. I grew up in Kennebunkport, Maine, which, some of your listeners might know that is one of the most wealthiest communities in New England. So right down the street, I saw that there was great wealth and abundance. And I'm like, why is my family poor and broke? And they're working really hard all the time. What is the deal here? So that's really what started this whole journey from many, many years ago of saying, what's the difference between highly successful people and people who are stuck or struggling? And, again, I found the answer, which we call the Power Habits system, or my Power Habits methodology. But the point that I'm getting at is that I want people to make sure that you do whatever you need to do to have that control, because of the fact that there are so many things you can't control, and especially right now. So I really believe that I've seen the fear that happens when, and I mean, I've experienced it, I've gone through it, when you don't have the systems that bring in the money. So the money is the result of having the right systems. And when you have that, that's when you have the control. And that's when you don't have to succumb to the fear.
Well, and when you're talking about, like, say, fear and these things that you can control, let's just give some of the entrepreneurs or these business owners that are listening on here, as an example, let's talk about someone that's doing face-to-face sales, maybe a sales rep, or their business involves them meeting a client one-on-one and, selling a product. Right now, in their mind, they're thinking, what am I going to do to make money? Because I can't go and meet these clients face to face. Or if I'm a real estate investor and I'm door knocking, I feel I can't go do some of these things. What advice would you give someone that's in that one-to-one, one-on-one, face-to-face business world, and for their income?
Going back to my example that I gave of, the doctor that I was working with, that was really what her situation was too. She was working one-on-one, face-to-face. I mean, it's kind of hard to adjust somebody as a chiropractor if they're not, lying there on the table, right? So that's what we did. Was I showed her how to package up her knowledge, skills, and expertise. So for the salesperson, for the business professional that's doing the face-to-face, that's what it really entails. I strongly believe, and again, I've helped people make hundreds of millions of dollars online by packaging and selling their expertise. It will absolutely involve what many people are referring to as a pivot, meaning you got to turn over here. You can't do things the way that you used to. And I mean, it's affecting me too. I mean, and I know you also, Chad. I mean, we met at a live event, so there ain't no live events happening right now. But, so for me, I'm doing virtual events. Like I have a virtual event, that's happening called the Online Business Virtual Retreat. And I'm teaching funnel income secrets, how to do exactly what we're talking about, how to build these courses, how to, sell them online, how to build funnels that make money, and how to drive traffic. All of these things that I've been doing for many, many years, in addition to helping people get rid of their head trash. So what's really exciting is because we're able to help people on the inner game and the outer game, that's why we're able to see those amazing stories, like people going from $5,000 a month that they were making before, now $75,000 a month. People who were $60,000 in debt, now they're making a six-figure income. People who are working 80 hours a week, now they're making six figures a month. I mean, using my methodology. So I mean, that's what's nice is when you start to have these types of successes, it's very, very exciting to see people's lives change. And I truly believe that everybody can do this.
Well, and one of the things I got from the Head Trash in your book, which is an awesome book, Noah, that um, it changed the way. And like you said, we met, speaking, and you and I have been on stages together, speaking in front of thousands of people, and that audience is big. It's great, but again, we want to help everyone there, but we know that realistically, not everyone is going to take the help and advice and stuff that we're given. So then we go down to a smaller group, and then we get down to a smaller group. And now it's the people that want the help. It's almost like the front row in an audience, right? Usually, sometimes your most engaged people, it's a weird thing, but your first several rows are the people that are so in tune with what you're, and I don't know why that's the case, but in audience I've been to, and I know you've been in bigger audiences that I have, but you notice that you get a lot of interaction there in the front, right? Those are the people that really want to be there. And right now, from the Head Trash that I had that I needed those thousands of people or several hundred people in a room. But now I'm like, no, I don't. I just need the right people in front of me that want to be there, and it's going to be fewer. Great. Let this pandemic weed through the curious and actually get me down to those people that are serious, because that's probably a part of when you work with people, you have to really peel back the layers and get them to be serious about goals and serious about taking action, not just they're not. You tell people, don't come to me curious. I want to help you when you are serious. And that's how you get those results, like that chiropractor. And that's what it's doing. Like the sales reps and people that are doing the one-on-one business, they had 50 appointments in a week. It's okay. They're not going to get every one of those clients, right? The Head Trash will, make them think that I need all these opportunities. No, just make the best opportunity with those few that you get, because those are the serious ones in this time. And that's when I think of Head Trash in your book. And I'm like, that's how I peeled back the layers, because you and I both, we transitioned quickly, to virtual things because we had to, but there's a lot of people that still haven't done that in our field, Noah, and we're wondering what are they doing?
Well, I always love speaking. It's just my absolute favorite thing to do. I love being on stage. I love, seeing people's light bulbs go on. It just makes me so happy to get that interaction. So yes, I'm definitely missing it. But what I, even from way, way back, over 2 decades ago, I said, I'm not going to be one of those speakers that's, has on the road for 300 nights or 200 days or whatever. I understand that some people they get off on that. It excites them. That never excited me. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather stay home and make money from something that I built once, and you build it once and then you make money until the end of time. So, literally, and this is one of the things that I share with, our private coaching clients is, listen, I'm making money right now today from products, courses, programs that I built 3, 5, 7, even 10, 12 years ago. I built it once and then I just make money every single day. And the point is, you can upgrade it, but it's kind of like with a house, right? When you buy a house, you don't have to keep buying the house, right? Now you might get new curtains, you might get a new couch, maybe a new TV, but you don't have to keep buying the house, right? So this is just like that. It's like, let's build your house. Let's get the house that you want and, put your courses together, build these sales funnels. And by the way, we build sales funnels for people. I built over 50 high converting sales funnels. We have a done for you funnel building service now because we're getting so much demand for it. It's like, because I just basically do this in my sleep. Just a quick story. I challenged my team just last week to build a new mastermind funnel. And I said, listen, let's really push ourselves. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's get this funnel done in one day. And, son of a gun, we did it in a day. And what's so amazing about that is it used to, with the old technology that we, had in the olden days, I'm talking like, 2003, 2007, it would take like months and months, like 6 to 9 months to build one funnel. Now we can get it done in a day. So that's pretty awesome. That's why, again, because of the demand, we're saying, sure, we'll build your funnel for you. I'll help you get your packaging together. And it's so exciting to see people's lives change when they start to touch people's lives all around the world.
If you were to give an entrepreneur, someone that's on the fence, a solopreneur, someone's got a side hustle, what is one tip, Noah, that you could tell them, like starting their day? What is one of the most important things that a piece of advice, a nugget that if they don't take anything else from this half hour that we're spending with each other, what would you give them advice to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, one of the things that we start with. We have a lot of checklists, blueprints, playbooks. Again, just to use the house analogy again, it's not like we're slapping boards together hoping a house shows up. That's what most entrepreneurs, that's what most entrepreneurs are doing. They're working really hard, that the example of a client I told you about, George is working 80 hours a week and not making any money. Really, he was just struggling. Now he's making six figures a month, because we did this process. But one of the places that you can start right now today for everyone is, first of all, understand what it is. What is your message? What is it that you want to communicate? Is it sales? Is it health? Is it, love? Is it intimacy? Is it hitting a golf ball further? Is it online business? Whatever it is, right? What's your niche? What's your area of expertise? And then the second thing is, well, who wants that, right? Who is your target audience? Who wants, what you have to offer? There's an old story that I'm sure you're familiar with, Chad, about if you have the best hot dog, right? Let's say you have the world's best hot dog. What should you do to really sell a lot of those hot dogs? And some people say, well, you want to have it a low price. You want to have nice packaging. You want to make sure that, it's got all the right ingredients. And the answer is no. What you want is a hungry audience, right? You want a bunch of hungry people, right? That's what you want. That's what's going to sell your hot dogs. And so that's what the thing is. You got to understand, yes, what's your hot dog? That's you. But then how are you going to get in front of the hungry audience, the people who are right now waiting for you, looking for what you have to offer? And then, of course, the process is just keep offering it, right? Just keep getting in front of them. And really, that's the process. And it's just, once we have it in place, that's the awesome thing. It's lather, rinse, repeat. Like I was saying, I have products, programs, courses online that are selling, that I built 3, 5, 10 years ago. And that's what creates that life of freedom, which is really what we all want.
Well, Noah, you've given some great pieces of information, and people that are listening, I want them to realize that fear versus control, that's something you really need to hone in on. I love that takeaway for me, and understanding a little bit more about what head trash is and holding people back, how to overcome that. And, if it's not a pandemic, it's something else. Some things are major, things that affect the world, but all of us have major things that happen as individuals. There's always a solution for that, and it starts in the mind. And a good way to start is educating yourself. And like you said, Noah, how can people follow you from this point? I mean, I've kept you on here a long time, and I know you got clients and people you need to talk to, but tell me how I can introduce my people to follow you, stay connected, see what you're doing. What's the best way?
Yes, absolutely. So, the quickest way and the fastest way is to get my new book called "Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money." And because for all the listeners that are listening right now, because you're listening to this program, you can actually go to sendmeabooknoah.com, and I will send you that book for free. Meaning I've covered the cost of the book. We just ask you to cover the shipping. So it's Send Me a Book Noah. Very easy to remember. Sendmeabooknoah.com, and I will do that. Yeah, I'm just Noah St. John everywhere. Noah St. John on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We do have a Facebook group that we call the Freedom Lifestyle Force, which is a free Facebook group to help people have that freedom lifestyle where you have the time, the energy, the relationships, and the money that you really want. So, you can certainly, you just have to ask to join the group, Freedom Lifestyle Force. You can just search that on Facebook. But yeah, you can find me everywhere on social, and definitely make sure you let me know that you heard me here on Chad's show. And, what a awesome conversation, as always, Chad, whenever I get to talk to you.
Man, I really appreciate it, Noah. But before I let you go, you've got to answer my top 3 questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First one, what is your favorite movie?
Field of Dreams.
Next one, if you were to look down at your phone on your playlist, what is the first song that's going to be playing?
The last one that I played I just like to go to YouTube and listen to songs is Ain't No Stopping Us Now by McFadden and Whitehead.
All right. Last question. What is your pet's name?
Our pet's name, we have a beautiful little kitty cat named Dakota. And she's the cutest thing. And what's so funny? Any of you cat owners out there, I don't know if your cat's like this, but she's like bipolar, because sometimes she'll be all cuddly and curly and like, oh, isn't that sweet and purring? And then it's like, it's like, I feed you. Why am I getting the scratching routine here? Oh, brother. And then I'm like, yeah.
Sometimes my wife's cute and cuddly, and then other times it's get away. So maybe that's kind of also referring to my wife. She does that same thing. Well, Noah, thank you so much. You've told everybody how to find you, connect with you. And again, for you guys to get a copy of Noah's free book, it's sendmeabooknoah.com. It's a great book. I've read it. And again, Noah, thanks for being a friend. I appreciate you being here with me today.
Always a pleasure, Chad.
All right. And don't forget, you're always on call.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, friends, you are always on call.